Please be seated. Good morning. I'm Jerry Cruz, the Dean and Provost of Southern Illinois University School of Medicine and CEO of SIU Medicine. I welcome all of you, parents, spouses, family, friends, graduates, faculty, to this convocation of the faculty of the SIU School of Medicine. This convocation is now in session. We meet today for the purpose of commencement for the class of 2022. This is the 48th commencement of the School of Medicine. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sheila Caldwell, Vice President for Anti-Racism, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and Chief Diversity Officer of the Southern Illinois University System.
Good morning, all. On behalf of the SIU system, it is my privilege and honor to congratulate the SIU School of Medicine May 2022 graduates. Welcome and thank you to all the parents, grandparents, family members, and significant others who have supported our talented students on their pathway to success. We know this achievement is in part a result of your steadfast love and commitment. To our graduates, what you have accomplished today is no small feat. Your remarkable aptitude, dedication, confidence, compassion, and humility are the qualities that have brought you to this day and will sustain you as successful scientists and physicians. Today, you become a part of a proud legacy of more than 460,000 distinguished SIU alumni. We know you will continue our tradition of excellence and impact locally, nationally, and beyond. Now, as we look to the future, both at SIU and for each of you, we are excited about what will come next. We wish you the best in the next chapter of your phenomenal journey, and we hope you stay connected to the SIUC and SIU system. So again, congratulations on your hard-earned and well-deserved success. And I want to say, go Salukis.
It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Edgar Curtis, trustee of the SIU system.
Thank you, Dr. Cruz. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 48th graduation of SIU School of Medicine. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I too want to welcome everyone here today. Vice President Caldwell from the university system, Dean and Provost Cruz, all the members of the Deus Party here, and certainly our student graduates. I want to talk about three groups here. First, I want to mention our faculty. 4 years ago, in the summer of 18, these bright-eyed, intelligent students walked into Carbondale's campus, and the faculty have been here night and day, supporting, mentoring, teaching, and assisting them over the past 4 years to turn them into some incredible physicians that are graduating here today. So to the faculty, I say, thank you, job well done. Now I want to talk to you, parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, cousins, support system. You've mentored, raised, assisted these young adults to turn into incredible human beings that are going to graduate here today. They know, and you know, that wouldn't be possible without your love, attention, guidance, and support over their lifetime. And for you, we're so thankful. And finally, to our graduates of the class of 22, I'm going to ask you to aspire and serve. What an honor it is that you're receiving today, and I know how hard you've worked, but the journey continues as you either go into some postgraduate research role or start a residency program, but the journey continues. I want you to remember your classmates. I want you to remember your faculty. They'll be with you the remainder of your life. They'll be here to help, support, and guide you as you go forward. But please, as you graduate today, aspire. Aspire to greatness, but more importantly, to serve mankind, make a difference in people's lives. And I know something about this medical school because I've watched these students for a number of years. Yes, they're very intelligent. And yes, they have skilled hands, but they have kind hearts. And that kind heart is why we want students coming to this medical school, because that's what makes a difference. And I'm telling you, the class of 22 is an incredible class. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I want to say congratulations to the class of 22, and I too say go Salukis.
It's now my pleasure to introduce more members of the administration and the dais party. Please hold your applause until all members have been introduced. Dr. Regina Rabinovich, class of 1982, our commencement speaker. Dr. Karen Broquet, Associate Dean for Graduate Medical Education. Dr. Susan Hingle, Associate Dean for Human and Organizational Potential. Dr. Deborah Clayman, Senior Associate Dean for Education and Curriculum. Dr. Amanda Mulch, Assistant Dean for Student Affairs. Dr. Vidya Prakash, Associate Dean of Clinical Affairs and Population Health and Chief Medical Officer for SIU Medicine. Dr. Donald Torrey, Associate Dean for Research. Dr. Wendy Wills Elamine, Associate Dean for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Dr. Hanami Adrizi, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Shelley Tishkow, Chair, Medical Microbiology, Immunology, and Cell Biology, and Pharmacology. Dr. Meredith Voley, Education Director, Department of Population Science and Policy. Dr. Matthew Winkleman, President, SIU School of Medicine Alumni Society. And 3 members of the faculty who have been honored by the class of 2022. Dr. Marty Lafka, who has been chosen to read the Physician's Pledge. Dr. Eric Constance, Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Admissions, who will hood the graduates. And Ms. Michaela Thurber, who has received 2 honors, the 2022 Golden Apple recipient, and who also was chosen as Outstanding Teacher of the Year during the graduate's first year of medical school in Carbondale. And now, would all of the faculty members of the SIU School of Medicine please rise? All faculty members, please rise. We recognize these faculty members who have worked side by side with the grads in the classrooms, in the labs, in the hospitals, in the community, in the clinics. Please be seated. Dr. Tishkow will now present the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry.
Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry please rise? Vice President Caldwell, these candidates have completed all requirements established by Southern Illinois University. On behalf of its faculty, I am pleased to recommend them to you for the degree Master of Science in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry.
In accordance with this recommendation, and by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Master of Science in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining.
Maxwell Alexander Benstein. Maria Camila Espinosa Gonzalez. Chase Alexander Gibbs. Catherine Ann Myrto. Daniel F. Montgomery. Dorinda O'Garo.
There we go. Congratulations to the scientists. The Physician's Pledge is the traditional symbol of the honored association of the profession of medicine with the highest standards of ethical behavior. Dr. Marty Hlafka has been asked to lead the physicians in the recitation of the pledge. The Physician's Pledge is found on page 9 of the commencement booklet. Please turn to page 9. Will all of the physicians and medical students on stage please rise, and all of the physicians and medical students in the audience please rise.
As a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. The health and well-being of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit considerations of age, disease, or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me, even after the patient has died. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity and in accordance with good medical practice. I will foster the honor and noble traditions of the medical profession. I will give to my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and the advancement of healthcare. I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for the degree Doctor of Medicine please rise? Vice President Caldwell, the degree Doctor of Medicine is awarded only to those who have demonstrated outstanding ability and knowledge, and the diligence and personal strength of character necessary to be a physician. These candidates have completed all requirements established by the School of Medicine, and on behalf of the faculty, I am pleased to recommend them to you for conferral of the degree Doctor of Medicine.
In accordance with the recommendation and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you, the Doctor of Medicine, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Dr. Dominic Alio, Springfield. Dr. Zachary Curtis Anderson, Princeton. Dr. Miriam Iabode Bakare, Sauk Village. Dr. Samantha Ann Bybee, Belleville. Dr. Amanda Lee Brown, Fairfield. Dr. Paul Casiopo, Collinsville. Dr. Blake William Kane, Marion. Dr. Komal Chaudhry, Carbondale. Dr. Jasmine Davila, Moline. Dr. Ryan Debosky, East Moline. Dr. Adam Matthew Dateman, Rochester. Dr. David James Edelstein, Glen Carbon. Dr. Nicholas Byrne Fiore, Belleville. Dr. Erica Jo Forbes, Bourbonnais. Dr. Jacob Dale Frankie, Maystown. Dr. Caitlin Marie Wolford Frankie, Salem. Dr. Carlos Garcia, Beardstown. Dr. William Giesing, Quincy. Dr. Rebecca Griffin, Godfrey. Dr. Logan Renee Grubb, Chatham. Dr. Juanita Jamira, Bronx, New York. Dr. Lauren Hall, LaSalle. Dr. Matt Hazelrig, Springfield, being hooded by his father, Dr. Stephen Hazelrig. Dr. Jared Russell Hendren, Leroy. Dr. Sierra Tiffany Higginson, Oriana. Dr. Jordan Lynn Francis Houston, Newton. Dr. Ihuma Yvette Ibokwe, Brockton, Massachusetts. Dr. Paige Kennel Self, Highland. Oh. Do over. Dr. Rachel Karras, Sherman. Dr. John Michael Kashke, Streeter. Dr. Samuel Keck Flory, Edwardsville. Dr. Emily Loman Irwin, Springfield. Dr. Gregory Alden Lukács, Clinton. Dr. Beret Unique Madden, Rochester, New York. Dr. Tyler Anthony Maggio, Rockford. Dr. Manish Chandra Mandava, Normal. Dr. Matthew Michael Mannion, Springfield, being hooded by his grandfather, Dr. Marion Benepento. Dr. Allah El-Tayani Fadul Mansour, Danville. Dr. Jasmine Elise Matori, Carmel, Indiana. Dr. Sofia Matos, Springfield. Dr. Brady Louise McGeth, being hooded by her father, Dr. Randall McGeth, Champaign. Photo op. Dr. Stephanie Ann Menendez, Rochester. Dr. Navoda Mirigali, Champaign. Dr. Sasha Ray Mazaleski Hill, DuQuoin. Dr. Vamsi Krishna Nadu, Champaign. Dr. Felicia Oluwashehun Alawuni, Tacoma Park, Maryland. Dr. Aaron Preston Peach, Granite City. Dr. Madison Paige Frecker Plater, Nashville. Dr. Mason Matthew Plater, Rushville. Dr. Haley Plattner, Champaign. Dr. Cole Zachary Plura, Leroy. Dr. Alyssa Taylor Ray, Moline. Dr. John Santos Rego, Metamora. Dr. Nicholas Revelt, Edwardsville. Dr. Luis Miguel Rubio, West Chicago. Dr. Marna Danielle Rudd, Richton Park. Dr. Chloe Noel Sandercock, Rochester, being hooded by her father, Dr. David Sandercock. Joining us virtually is Dr. Joshua Shaw, Crystal Lake. Dr. Anthony Slyman, Peoria. Dr. Harvey Bennett Stevens II, Springfield. Dr. Buki Florence Tabiti, Chicago. Dr. Jacob Elijah Tremmel, Murfreesboro. Dr. Matt Turner, Troy. Dr. Frank Angelo Verdu III, Edwardsville. Dr. Alec August Wellman, Sherman. Dr. Kyle Whittington, Elkville. Dr. Elizabeth Jane Wieland, Rock Island. And last but not least, Dr. Jordan Taylor Wills, Benton.
The class of 22, congratulations, doctors. Our graduation speaker today is Dr. Regina Rabinovich. She's an alumna, a graduate of the SIU School of Medicine. She completed her residency in pediatrics at the University of North Carolina, then furthered her training with a preventive medicine fellowship and a master's degree in public health with an emphasis on maternal and child health epidemiology, also at UNC. Then she set out to change the world, which over the next 30 years she did. She took a position at the National Institutes for Health for the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Disease, where she became the Chief of Clinical and Regulatory Affairs and led the effort to develop and evaluate vaccines through a network of clinical research units. She then became founding director of the PATH Malaria Vaccine Initiative, which led to her appointment as director of the Infectious Disease Division of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In this position, she oversaw implementation of strategies for worldwide control of a variety of infectious diseases. So, through these positions and many others, and using her expertise in medicine, anthropology, epidemiology, vaccine development, vaccine advocacy, and philanthropy, Dr. Rabinovich became a guiding force in global health care and in global health product development and in global strategy and analysis. Right now, her primary appointment is with Harvard University as the ExxonMobil Scholar in Residence. She also is now the director of the Malaria Elimination Initiative for ESO Global at the University of Barcelona. So we are proud of all of our grads and the care that they give to their patients and to their communities and to the planet. In her work, Dr. Rabinovich has made a difference in the lives of tens of millions of people. And by the way, her father, Dr. Sergio Rabinovich, was the longtime chair of the Department of Internal Medicine at the SIU School of Medicine. It is our honor to have you here today, Dr. Gina Rabinovich.
Congratulations, new doctors, and congratulations, parents, because I know what it took to get them here. And thank you, Dean, for that introduction. It is a special honor for a graduate of a program to come back to speak at the commencement of their university. It shows I must have done something right along the way during the past 40 years. It's actually been 40 years. We know today is the next step in your careers, celebrated with your families and friends, and then in a few weeks you will begin residency across the country and rejoin as a class, likely only for your first reunion. Look left, look right. You will be missing those people. This end also celebrates a beginning, and for this commencement, I have taken the opportunity to reflect on the unique experiences that this graduating class has lived and how this positions you for the future. The timing could not be more opportune. Since May the 7th of this year, a monkeypox virus that is endemic in Nigeria and Central Africa has been identified in London, Madrid, Boston, and it turns out, etc. And because it is a pox virus related to smallpox, 80 cases in 12 countries in 3 weeks is terrifying for a global community still reeling from the impact of COVID-19. And COVID-19 has not yet gone away. We're averaging about 100,000 cases in the United States per day right now, something we kind of have to remind ourselves because we're learning how to cope with it. This graduating class has experienced a rather unique curriculum in addition to what your faculty had planned for you, because the past 2 years consumed by the realities of training during a pandemic. I've been assured by several of your classmates that you felt protected by the medical school, as well as we all learned how to manage risk through the pandemic, and your training remained on track to get you here today. I've also identified some unique aspects of the past 2 years that extend beyond the regular curriculum. I'm sure you will discover more upon further reflections as you continue residency in more certain times, one hopes. The reality of disruption of every facet of healthcare, and indeed of life. Managing risk to yourselves and to family. The loss of carefree communities to support you. Also, the everyday reality of dealing with shortages. It's not something that we're accustomed to dealing with in the United States. While we have poverty in the US, of course, and many people without adequate health insurance, particularly children, the routine absence of necessities for medical care, such as masks, hospital beds, ventilators in the early phase, were marked. Beyond frustrating, the need to triage in the field, in New York City to use the same mask for a week, to run out of essential medicines, was for many a change in paradigm. A war room in every hospital, in every state, and in reality, in every country. We all learned more about the pain points in the global and now affecting the local health system. It should not have surprised us that people in Africa obtained vaccine way later than the North, and still substantive delays for a variety of reasons. But at that point, we all learned that several hundred medications were only manufactured in China. And as borders shut down, supply chains, a word I did not learn in medical school, were abruptly broken. They were not expensive, they were simply not available. Or even worse, if available, there was a limited supply of shipping containers as they were stuck in various countries and ports without staff to load the empty ships back. The challenge of managing a pandemic and at the same time providing and receiving routine care is another important aspect that affects everyone in this room. In the US, we adapted. Routine acute medical visits by video, staffing by travel nurses, COVID testing in your car. Sadly, in the rest of the world, which we generally specify as the global south, fear, distances, truly broken supply chain meant that in rural areas, children were not getting any care. Our best estimates, despite a truly collaborative and detailed all-hands-on-deck process led by WHO and engaging everyone needed to solve the problems, is that the number of child deaths from malaria and pneumonia increased. In both the North and the South, we have really yet to tally up the impact on health, on nutrition, education, and the economy, but it is vast. A major threat arising from the confusion of science and politics and how to manage COVID is the damage to the credibility of the public health and science leaders in the US. This is both general and personalized to many individuals literally threatened at home by deniers. This will take time to repair. In the face of these pressures, I believe that we have also gained from the experience of watching the R&D committee align around immediate access to the genetic sequence of the virus. And if you recall, 10 years ago, that was a hotly contested issue globally because countries that were providing access to the usual strains needed for influenza virus were not getting access routinely to the vaccine. This did not become an issue that was posted by a Chinese investigator, and with drive and unprecedented speed, the development of a series of vaccines and treatments became reality. They're not perfect, perhaps, requiring multiple doses to address variants, and there is, in reality, much still to be learned. The influenza community lives with a certain fear that the next year will bring a recurrence of the 1918 flu pandemic that killed 25 to 100 million people after 2 years from the first case that started in Kansas, or was the first identified in Kansas. And they believe that for the next year, they live in constant fear. We now realize that epidemics and global pandemics are a real threat, and better understand that they can arise from anywhere and from a variety of pathogens. You are better prepared to lead the way in how to sustain COVID learnings than the 20 generations before you. You've been through the wars. Since it is a tradition to say some words that you might consider going forward, I will give you 3 comments based on changes that I have witnessed. And they're not usually part of your curriculum, I may be wrong. The first is use your voice. Rather like the airport adage, see something, speak up. In the future, you will likely play a leadership role in your various communities, if you choose. Advocacy and public speaking are often not taught in medical school. I watched my emergency room resident take such a role at the onset of car seats for infants as he witnessed the horror of children in car accidents, and advocating at both the local and state level in North Carolina. North Carolina ended up taking this seriously after the usual arguments of independent decision-making, etc. Others have spoken up about other controversial issues: vaccine safety, use of unqualified drugs in a pandemic, like chloroquine, for example. And this is just to name a few. Those people are fearless, and they speak up, knowing that there will be pushback from whoever disagrees with them in the community. Be informed on the best science and practices, and speak up. Number 2 is be honest, particularly with yourself. You are now all at the top of your game in medical school, or you're no longer in medical school. You go in a few weeks to the bottom of the totem pole in residency, I'm sorry to say, with much yet to learn. Listen to your nurses ask questions, and listen, most of all, to yourself. Finally, enjoy the intensity of the next few years. Please figure out why we don't have the best healthcare system in the world, and how to address both medical challenges and social and economic determinants of health. Choose your battles. You can't take them all on. Honestly, as I thought over the past weeks about what to say, of the many things one could speak about, and I made the mistake of reading famous commencement speeches. Don't ever do that if you have this opportunity. I realized, sadly, that I have no recollection of who the commencement speaker was at my graduation, nor what they spoke about. None. I was too overwhelmed with the loss of the class as we dispersed across the U.S. and beyond. So think about coming back for the reunions. They have been lovely touch points along the way. I would like to thank my parents and my family for their support in getting me here to this point and letting me keep on working and dealing with the time zone differences in my career. But thank you very much, everybody. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. It's my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Matthew Winkleman, President of the Southern Illinois University School of Medicine Alumni Society, who will present the Distinguished Alumni Awards.
Thank you, Dean. It's always such a joy to be here and be part of this day. And on behalf of the Alumni Society Board of Governors and our 3,000 alumni, I want to say congratulations to the graduates. I love SIU School of Medicine, and I am so proud to be associated with the alumni. One of the main reasons is the remarkable people who call SIU their alma mater. And today we get to highlight several of our alumni whose nominators repeatedly mentioned that they fully embody the mission of the School of Medicine. First, Dr. Elizabeth Stewart of the class of 2007 is the recipient of the 2022 Early Career Achievement Award. Dr. Stewart will receive that award in a few weeks at her place of work in Memphis, where she is distinguishing herself early in this stage of her career as a standout in patient care and the advancement of research in pediatric cancer. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Stewart. Dr. Kravis Trabtree of the class of 1995 is the recipient of the 2022 Distinguished Alumni Achievement Award. Dr. Crabtree is the current chief of the SIU Division of Cardiothoracic Surgery, bringing his skills back to SIU. He is noted by colleagues as a standout for his innovative work in surgical simulation training. He is known as a go-to clinician by his peers and as a passionate teacher by students. One of his nominators commented that his enthusiasm and intensity as a surgeon and a caregiver raised the game of all of us who practiced around him. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Crabtree.
Thank you so much. Let me again congratulate all of you on your dedication and perseverance and getting to this point, really the first phase of your career. I am so honored to be here. I want to thank the Alumni Association and the board. There's so many talented SIU alum, and I am truly honored and humbled by this opportunity. When Julie Robbs called me and told me about this award, she said it was because of what I have accomplished, and I really feel like I stumbled through the last 27 years or so. I did accomplish marrying the woman of my dreams, although that was dumb luck on my part, fortunately. We accomplished having 3 wonderful children of whom we are so very proud, and we cherish and adore most of the time. If I did accomplish something professionally as I reflected upon it, I subconsciously or consciously surrounded myself with people who gave more of themselves than their job required. They sacrificed for me to make me a better physician and a better person throughout my residency and early in my career, and even when I was going through the last 4 years that you went through. There are people sitting behind me who had such a tremendous influence and gave so much of themselves. Rick Constance, Kevin Dorsey, people behind the scenes like Julie Robbs. I am so thankful to those kinds of individuals. What I hope for you as you go out is that you have the opportunity to have people who sacrifice for you to make you better physicians, better parents, better spouses. But ultimately, what I wish for you is that you go out, that you become those individuals that give more of yourselves than is actually required by your job description, that you help mentor your fellow colleagues, that you're there for patients, you sacrifice to teach them all the things that people have taught me. You will all have the opportunity to be successful as we routinely define success, but if you do give this sacrifice to others, I think you will truly find the happiness and fulfillment in your careers. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Dr. Stephen Getter of the charter class of 1976 is the recipient of the 2022 Distinguished Alumni Service Award. One of his nominators pointed out that as a member of the charter class, he may be one of the most longest practicing SIU physicians, having completed 42 years of primary care service to the community of Decatur. He served in multiple leadership roles in the Macon County medical community. Nominators described him as a doctor's doctor, and one patient nominator noted that he has cared for me and my family day and night, weekday and weekend, through serious illness and injury, and through trivial or imagined illness and injury, at home, in the office, or in the hospital. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Getter.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. To Dr. Winkleman, the Office of Alumni Affairs, Dean Cruz, esteemed faculty and staff, graduates, distinguished guests, and family. 49 years ago, next month, my fellow classmates and I, the charter class of SIU School of Medicine, embarked on a unique medical education. We were a very close group. We studied and worked together. We taught each other. We learned from one another. We supported each other during the most difficult times, and we celebrated all the highlights. Looking out today at this year's graduates, I can see that experiment, the SIU School of Medicine, was not only successful, but has become highly acclaimed throughout the country for educating physicians. Upon finishing both medical school graduation and subsequent residency at SIU, I wanted to serve the patients of Southern and Central Illinois, as that was the mission of SIU, to assist this particular population in meeting healthcare needs through education, patient care, research, and service to the community. I joined a small internal medicine group in Decatur because the Macon County community was one of the medically underserved areas in our state. During my 42 years of primary care practice, I've tried to live up to the mission of our medical school. I hope today's graduates will continue that legacy. I am grateful to my medical colleagues, nurses, community partners, and especially my patients who entrusted me with their health. I would like to especially thank my wife, Jackie, our 3 sons, Michael, Scott, and Andrew, and all of their families for their love and support. And finally, thank you all for this honor. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure now to announce the recipients of the Leonard Tao Humanism in Medicine Awards. These are very special honors that are given to a graduating student and to a faculty member who are judged to be exemplary in their compassion and sensitivity in the delivery of care to patients and family members. 2 individuals have been identified by the faculty, residents, and students as those who exhibit this highest standard of humanism in medicine. Will Dr. Brady McGeff please come to the stage? Dr. McGeff graduated with her medical degree a few minutes ago and is this year's graduating class recipient of the Tao Humanism Award. Her student nominator wrote this, quote, "She is the epitome of humanism. I got a firsthand view of the exceptional care, attention, and selflessness that Brady provides her patients. She is a ray of sunshine after a long winter. When she enters a room, you can't help but feel the warmth and leave the room with a smile. She always makes the team better. She's shown her humanism in her activities, too. Class volunteer service coordinator, she served as mentor for a local grade school child, helped create a school health fair for our adopted elementary school, volunteered to teach about anti-smoking behavior to grade school and high school students. She volunteered as a mentor for the Girls on the Run and for the local domestic violence center, helped to organize a program to keep children active at school. She's a great doctor, too. Dr. Brady McGeff epitomizes professionalism and humanism in medicine and in life."
Yes, well, thank you, Dad, for hooding me. And thank you, Erica, my best friend in the whole world. I know you wrote that, and I love you so much and could not have done this without you.
Would Dr. Jody Lack come to the podium, please? Dr. Jody Lack is Associate Professor of Pediatrics at the School of Medicine. She's the Chief of the Division of Pediatric Hospital Medicine and the Associate Director of the Pediatric Residency Program. And she's this year's faculty recipient of the Leonard Tao Humanism Award. Student nominator wrote this, quote, "Dr. Lack shows compassion, respect, and kindness to everyone regardless of age, race, or socioeconomic status. She speaks to children with the utmost respect and attention. There is something about her demeanor, a sincere openness and inviting glow that I have yet to encounter elsewhere. She instantly puts patients and families at ease and provides a safe space for open discussion. She's an outspoken ally of marginalized and underrepresented people and communities and takes great care that she and the students always check their personal biases at the door," end quote. Dr. Lack does brighten everyone's day with every interaction. Her energy and enthusiasm are infectious. She's a mentor and an advocate for students and resident physicians and embodies the highest ideals of professionalism and humanism in medicine. She's a role model for us all in every way.
Thank you. I don't know what to say, except you guys know that I teased you every day that you were on the rotation with me, and you teased me right back. I appreciate everything that I've learned from all of you, from all the faculty behind me, and you honored me that you saw past all the laughs and the jokes to the true heart of me. Thank you.
I recognize Dr. Alec Wellman, chair of the class of 22. Alec.
So first, we as a class would like to award the Golden Apple Award. So the Golden Apple Award goes to the faculty member that we thought showed exemplary and outstanding teacher. But first, I want to say, over these 4 years, we've had an absolutely amazing amount of professors, mentors, and overall just people who have helped us out over these years. So there's many we could celebrate today, but there's one that we want to celebrate that exceeded expectations, went above and beyond, made an impact on our studies. During first year, anatomy was a very difficult course. There were many intricate details, and the material could be pretty difficult to study for, as if you got lost, you were very lost. So there was one teacher we had who had an amazing way of breaking down these intricate, complicated details into a simplistic manner that even I could understand. She also had a way of understanding where we were coming from with our understanding. This allowed her to help us make the connections we needed and fill in the gaps we needed to make quickly and easily. Besides her great teaching style, she went above and beyond with her commitment to the class. She was constantly running review sessions in the anatomy lab and offered personal assistance to anyone struggling at any time. It was not too uncommon to see her walking through and breaking down a lesson to a small group of students, even at 8 p.m. on a Friday night if they asked her to. She helped many of us succeed and was an amazing addition to our first year. We as a class would like to award the Golden Apple to Miss Michaela Thurber.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Wellman. And thank you, class. I'm very proud of all of you. I have a few words of gratitude that I'm looking at. Okay. I'm very honored and grateful to have been nominated for this award. It was an absolute honor and joy to work with all of you during your first year. Please know you have had a huge impact on my life and will always have a special place in my heart, especially being my first class. Your first year was also my first year. I distinctly remember the day I started because it was the day after the Halloween party, which always took place in the histo lab. There were still lingering spooky decorations and stories of being shared of tutor group themed costumes. This made me more excited to meet all of you. When I did get to work with you a few weeks later in NMB and later in ERG in the anatomy lab, I felt so welcomed and so supported. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me, for asking me questions, for embracing all of my anatomy puns, for being motivated, engaged, and appreciative and enthusiastic. It made me feel like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I never felt like work was work, and time always seemed to stop. My favorite and most memorable times were working with you in the anatomy lab. Those were some of the most fulfilling moments I've ever had, especially being able to witness the light bulb moments and connections being made right before their practical exams. Even moments before. So even though you moved on to Springfield for years 2 to 4 to complete your training, you have continued to be on my mind. I've seen, read, heard about the leaders that you all have become in research, student organizations, and in the community. I hope that we can keep in touch. I'd love to hear how your journey continues. I know you're all going to be fantastic doctors. Congratulations, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
All right, so hello everyone. Today's a great day for us. It's a big day for us. We became doctors. So it seems like it wasn't too long ago we were all meeting each other for the first time out in Lindgren Hall as we were all huddled in that auditorium. I remember our class had an icebreaker. We were given a t-shirt and a packet with someone else's name on it that we didn't know, have never met them before. And it was our icebreaker to go around the room and try to find the other person that we had. I had Matt Turner's packet. It took me a long time to find him that day as I went around meeting a lot of different people. We got a lot of great people in this class with a wide array of talents. I remember the first person I went up to ask if they were Matt was Tyler Maggio. I didn't realize at the time that I was meeting someone whose character, charisma, and selflessness was greater than anyone else I've ever met before. Of course, before this, I saw his dance moves on the Levels dance floor, so I had a pretty interesting idea of Tyler for a time. I also went up and saw Jeff and Paul. I didn't realize at the time I was talking to two of the smartest people I'd ever meet in my entire life. I also went up to Jared and Adam, thinking they might be Matt. They weren't Matt, but I met two people that were just absolutely genuine, and their compassion and care for everyone in the class was absolutely amazing. There's other people that I passed and met that day that I want to note, such as Brady, who was honored earlier, whose passion and altruistic nature is going to make her an amazing pediatrician. I also did not realize how much we'd grow together over the 4 years. Some people, like Jordan and Sam, would find their best friend. Others would find their forever partners that day, like Mason and Madison and Katie and Jacob. Some, like Carlos and Emily, would even welcome new life into their families during medical school, which I find incredibly impressive, as I can't even fathom adopting a pet during medical school. Like many others, I found my group of friends in medical school, and I'm very happy that they carried me these 4 years. So big thanks to Nick, Erica, and Brady for dealing with me for 4 years. We'd made many memories as a class, have many inside jokes for each other that I'll cherish forever. Some of them that were very memorable were Dr. Mannion's late-night group me message following the Halloween party, Dr. Plura somehow finding a way to break his car every 2 weeks, Dr. Slyman's ordeal with a fence first year, and of course, Dr. Anderson constantly ranting about D-dimer and our favorite differential of all time of trauma-induced ALS. I finally found Dr. Turner that day, who I didn't realize to me would end up being a prime example of who I thought as our class as a whole. Every person in our class worked together. We had one unified goal of making sure everyone around us succeeded. Now, I was fortunate enough to enter as the same field as Matt, and I'm incredibly excited to be his colleague. During first year, Matt made Anki decks for our anatomy and histology classes that he gave to our entire class so that everyone else could have the best resources. Now, I want to point out that this deck he made was so useful that even the first years to this day still use it and pass it around themselves. When he got more experienced, on third year, he led classes for the first and second years on how to efficiently and effectively study using the latest resources and tools for medical school. Finally, during fourth year, when Matt and I were trying to go for the same specialty, he did the rotation 1 month before me, and he handed me his personally made Anki flashcard deck of what he saw during that rotation, what he learned out of that rotation, and he gave it to me because he wanted me to succeed on the rotation. He didn't care for any competition between us. Reflecting on Matt's history of helping others really took me back to some good old days in Carbondale, where we had great people like Cody Bailey. Now, Cody was an absolute master when it came to anatomy, and he knew a lot of us struggled in this subject. So the days before a test, he led his own personal review courses. He walked around Lindgren trying to make sure everyone's questions were answered. And instead of focusing on his weak parts for the test, he wanted to make sure everyone around him passed. Cody set a standard for a class that I saw carried through Matt and many, many others throughout our 4 years. I'm sure there are countless other acts of support that my classmates would want to note here, but our support for one another is what made our class great. Now, we as a class had a 31 percentile difference between our MCATs and Step 1s. I know the class is probably pretty tired of hearing about this, but someone had to say it today. I think we didn't get here from just studying really hard as individuals. We got those scores from helping each other out, sharing our resources, making sure everyone had the support they need. Of course, this is just a numerical score. What it doesn't illustrate is that our class is also full of great people. I've already introduced many of these great people previously, but we can honestly go around the room and point out every single individual person and say something amazing about them, just as we did at the end of every tutor group evaluation. We as a class are different, as we will not only be great physicians, but we will also be great colleagues. We took a great class. We went through a pretty crazy time to be completing medical school. Once you sit down and think about it, it's pretty wild to be able to go through rotations all during a global pandemic. Our intro to medicine was a time of limited resources, incredible demand, high stress, and of course, wild parts of COVID. We always heard our elders growing up saying things like, well, back in my day, we walked 5 miles to school, or we didn't have that internet back when I was going through rotations. Now I can just imagine a very old Dr. Jacob Frankie many years from now, sitting in his office with some poor medical student stuck on their surgery rotation, and Dr. Frankie saying, well, back in my day, we learned during a global pandemic. But of course, this is the future, and our class has many years until then, and much to accomplish. This is a huge milestone in our careers, but there's much more we will do. Many will become leaders, some will become breakthroughs. Every single one of us will change patients' lives. It's a long road to become a doctor. None of this would have happened without the support of our friends and family. Whether it was encouragement, motivation, friendship, or financial and emotional support, we as a class would like to thank all of our loved ones for helping us achieve this goal. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Wellman, I try not to repeat myself. Oh, I just can't help it. 31. Right? Yeah. Okay, I'd like to offer a few words of thanks. First to this class, the class of 22, who before and through the pandemic have helped us keep the right perspective on life. Now, I could tell right away and through everything that's even happened today that you guys understand our triple aim +1. Everything we do, effective, efficient, equitable, enjoyable. You guys really get the enjoyable part. So, you know, during the first year, I made several trips to Carbondale, and you all, knowing that I liked levity, or at least it being communicated to you, the class would often write a message on the whiteboard that hung on the entrance to the administration area. One day, there was a question there. What did the 79-year-old pirate say on his next birthday? Let me say that another way. What did the 79-year-old pirate say on his next birthday? I'm 80. I've gotten a lot of mileage out of that one, so thank you, class. Yeah. Next, I'd like to offer my highest degree of thanks to Dr. Rick Constance, who shepherded each class through medical school for the past 27 years as Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Admissions. That's more than half the life of the School of Medicine. Rick will retire this year. We owe him a debt of gratitude. Rick, come up for a second if you would.
You guys are way too nice. I have been the luckiest person in the world to do this job for as long as I have. And I thank those that put me in this position at a young age and gave me the opportunity to do what really matters, which is to keep this school special. We've heard it from our alums. We've heard it from our speaker. You guys, within a week of residency, will realize how special your training has been. And you will all be leaders because of where you've come from. The thing that makes me proudest are the graduates. And seeing so many of them behind me, all these gowns, hopefully the message to you guys is, we'd love to have you back. Go away, stay here, whatever, but know that you're a part of this institution. And so thank you guys. It's been a great 4 years. I'm excited that my successor is an SIU graduate who is one of my students, and she will carry on wonderfully. So thank you guys. But I have one last favor to ask, and that is that it's very important to me that the students, you've all been congratulated, but I want you guys to stand up, turn around, and congratulate all these people behind you, because you wouldn't be here without them. So give them a hand today. Thank you.
So my thanks to all our alums and all the others of you out there in the audience too, who support the work of the School of Medicine. You do that by caring for our students, our patients, our communities, and for each other. And you do that with your time, your talent, your gifts, your love, your financial support too. It keeps us going. Thank you very much. And once again, to the class of 2022, you're an amazing group of physicians, and I doff my tam to you. You will make a big difference, individually and collectively, professionally and personally, for people, for families, for communities, for populations. The faculty, the administrators, the staff, the other students, the residents and fellows, and our partners in this community-based medical school are very proud of you. You make us smile every day. So on behalf of the faculty and administration of the SIU School of Medicine, I welcome you as colleagues, the class of 2022. Congratulations, doctors. This graduation ceremony and convocation is now complete, and I declare it adjourned. The commencement of your career has begun. We wish you always the best.